A long tradition of service with Phillips 66 petroleum products. And Griffin Oil doesn't stop there. Griffin also gives you fast, efficient delivery with radio dispatch trucks. Griffin Oil Company, supplier of Phillips 66 gasolines, diesel fuel, home heating oil, motor oils, and lubricants. The finest products for the home, farm, and industry are just a phone call away. Call Griffin Oil Company at 735-4911. Griffin Oil Company, distributors of Phillips 66 in Goldsboro and Wayne County.
Just wait until you can relax on a new mattress from Dream Makers. Hi, I'm Sharon Weisiger, manager of Dream Makers, your one-stop sleep shop. We offer you quality bedding products at the lowest prices around. We have conventional and waterbed mattresses, linens, futons, furniture, and more. When you visit Dream Makers, I promise you'll get personal service and your satisfaction is guaranteed. Take advantage of our free local delivery. Come see us today and start resting better tonight. Dream Maker Sleep Center, 1003 North Berkeley Boulevard, Goldsboro.
Well, we should see lots of bright sunshine across the area today, along with seasonably mild temperatures. We'll have light winds and highs up to around 66 to 71. Tonight, we'll have mostly clear skies overall as high pressure sits right over the area. That'll leave us calm and cool with lows in the low to mid-40s. On Tuesday, that high will start to pull off to the east. We'll have increasing cloudiness, especially during the afternoon and evening. Should be a little warmer tomorrow as well, with highs up to 70 to 75. I'm Mike Moss at the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Don't let the kids have all the fun. Make them clean up their rooms and check out our website, WGBR.com. Greetings to you, conversationalists all across the fruited plain. It's amazing, but we're here. We are actually on the air. Tough to believe, but we made it today, ladies and gentlemen. Rush Limbaugh and the Excellence in Broadcasting Network looking forward to a full 3 hours of fun, frolic, frivolity, as well as serious discussions of all the issues that matter. Here's the telephone number if you'd like to be on the program. 800-282-2882. Mr. Snerdley is back from a weekend jaunt. Where did you go? Seattle? Went out to Seattle for a weekend. That's some weekend coast to coast. You got to figure 11 or 12 hours spent on an airplane. I hope the time you spent out there was productive. Well, in a relaxed way, of course. Here's the email address if you'd like to get your 2 cents in that way. It is rush@eibnet.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen. The Sunday talk shows were active yesterday with the three amigos, Emmanuel, Carville, and Bagala, all now able to focus on that partisan can't-stop again since the Paula Jones case. There's a fourth member. Ann Lewis was out there yesterday, too. And I want to start off with just some sound bites from what these people are saying, because they're squirming. They are nervous. Some of this stuff is really unbelievable. And it just makes you ask even more, where are the American people on this, or at least the 60 to 70% who think everything's fine. Also, big news over the weekend about a couple of United States companies selling missile technology with the approval of the president to the government of China. One of the companies involved is run by a heavy contributor to the Democratic National Committee. It was in the New York Times on Saturday, a story by Jeff Gerber.
People are insecure on some level. And
the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and guess what? Despite dire predictions, El Nino delivered a winter that was no costlier than either of the previous two winters in the United States. No costlier. In other words, the weather might have been worse in certain areas this past winter than it was in previous winters, but in those previous winters, there was equally as bad weather. We just don't remember it as much because it wasn't associated with some phenomenon which actually is not a phenomenon since it regularly occurs, called El Nino. We'll get into the details of that as well. Also, I think Madonna has found the need to respond to me because she's in the press today saying that she wants the world to know that the father of her child may not be her husband, but he's still a big part of her life. She defends the charge that she basically hunted a stud in Central Park. We'll have the details of that. Also, one of the killers in Jonesboro, Arkansas, is apparently not eating, not drinking. He's got dry, cracked lips, and his mother is worried about it. He's sorry. Which, I have another story today which indicates that counts for a lot. A presidential poll. A full 55, 60% of the American people, if President Clinton would just say sorry for all this, it'd be cool. Everything would be okay. Sorry counts for a lot in the United States today. Let's first, though, go to the Sunday shows. I want you to listen to actually 3 humorous bits here. They are humorous not in the sense that what you hear said is funny. They are funny if you listen to the attitudes and the squeezed nature of the answers here, given first off by Ann Lewis, who was on Fox News Sunday with Tony Snow. The first question from Tony Snow is, if you were in a workplace situation, Ms. Lewis, your boss invites you in a room, exposes himself, asks you to perform a sexual act, would you consider that harassment?
Are you starting to say, if the allegations were true, would I consider it harassment?
Yes.
And I guess I'd say, if the kind of allegations you just made were true, I would consider it bumptious. But the key for me would also be whether or not it ever was repeated and whether it was continued. Now, that's my personal reaction. There are reasons why we have legal rulings so that this doesn't just require personal reaction.
So just once is okay?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Just once is okay?
No, that's what I said. I said it was bumptious.
But
whether or not we're talking here about a legal issue.
I know, but Ann, bumptious means conceited or self-assertive. Is that all that is?
No, but whether or not it is legally actionable, that's the difference. I don't want to tell you, you're taking a flying leap from obnoxious behavior to legally actionable.
Stop. See, my friends, listen to her answer. What happened, whether it's right or wrong, doesn't make any difference. Whether we can legally get away with it is all that counts. Now, you know Ann Lewis doesn't live her life this way. You know Ann Lewis would not let her husband live his life this way, or any of her sons, if she has any, I don't even know. But if whoever her boss is in the White House, hell, it may be Clinton for all I know, she wouldn't let her boss get away with this on the grounds that, well, it's a legal issue here. Whether or not it's legally actionable is the difference. What a cop-out. These people are humiliating themselves, because I will guarantee you that her heart of hearts and in her mind of minds, Ann Lewis doesn't believe any of this. But what they're doing, my friends, is confirming what I've always told you. They look at things in the White House through that prism of legality. Can they get away with it or can they not? And if they think they can, they'll do it. If they don't think they can, they won't do it. It doesn't matter whether it's a proper thing to do, a moral thing to do, an ethical thing to do. And I love pointing this out to you. These people are just squirming. You can just sense it. Here's another pretty good squirm, because the bottom line here, after you hear this next one from Carville, who was on Meet the Depressed yesterday with Tim Russert. And Russert says, last week, Bill Moyers was on this show, Mr. Carville, and he said that the president has a credibility problem. He said that Clinton told the country that he did not have an affair with Jennifer Flowers, and we now know that he admitted he had an affair in his deposition. Here's Carville's response.
Not exactly true, Tim, because what they said is that you have sex, and they defined sex in the broadest, in the most broadest terms, and you know that also.
But you don't think the president or you...
What I was told is it was groping in a bar. Well, if I grope with somebody in a bar, I don't regard that as sex. I mean, I think I know the definition as well as anybody.
You don't think the country had heard Bill Clinton, or he had given them the impression that Jennifer Flowers' story was not true?
I don't think the Jennifer Flowers story was true. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you. He didn't even recognize the voice on the phone. She said they had a 12-year affair. And I think what I was told he said in the deposition in Time magazine was, is they groped in a bar in Little Rock in 1977. I don't know what, you know, so no, that's not my, if I groped with somebody in a bar in 1977, I don't call that having sex.
What's the point? He's admitting, hey, they groped in a bar. The president was married. He's got a daughter at home. The defense is, that's the standard that we've all been reduced to now. The standard that we've been reduced to is defining sex so that whatever Clinton does isn't. And the admission here is they groped in a bar. 1977, one time they groped in a bar. So what? That's not sex. I think I know the definition of sex. I look at it all the time. It's not, and if you know what as well as I do, Tim, it's not that I groped with somebody in a bar in 1977. I don't call that having sex. Ergo, Mr. Carville admits that the president groped Jennifer Flowers in a bar in 1977. The things that these people, either inadvertently or because they have no choice, admit to as a means of defense of the president. Stunning. Now, next up is Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel also on Meet the Press with Tim Russert. Here's the question. Why has the president asserted executive privilege as broadly as Richard Nixon, prohibiting his aides from testifying and telling everything they know? And by the way, I want to go back to this one because this was big news. The president's in Africa. He's asked about executive privilege. I don't know anything about that. You'll have to ask the people responsible for that. He's the one that claims it. He's in Africa claiming he doesn't even know if it's been claimed. And nobody can claim executive privilege but him. Then he was asked about whether or not it's been claimed for Hillary as well. I didn't know about that till I read about it in the paper. He was in Senegal or Rwanda or where, Botswana, I don't know, but he read it in the paper. Maybe it was Ghana. Anyway, this is really twisting and turning. This is Rahm Emanuel, and this is there's nothing to spin here, folks. This is just inept. Listen to this.
Tim, neither you or I know whether the president has asserted executive privilege. And if
do you deny he has?
We don't know whether he has. It's under seal. I don't know, and we don't know if he has, whether he has or what he has done.
But Mr. Emanuel, when you know something is not true, you're the first to come to the press and say that's not true. You can clear up this morning by saying the president has not asserted executive privilege.
What I know is A, it's under seal, and B, it's something we can't discuss. That is what I know. And it is a hypothetical discussion, given we're not able to discuss it under seal.
The president can say he's asserted executive privilege.
The president can. I'm not the president, and I can't talk.
He says talk to you.
Right. That would be the first if you ever did that.
Now, the bottom is they have claimed it. There's no question about it. They don't want anybody to know it officially because of how bad it looks. They don't want the comparisons to Nixon. And yet, here is a man who said that he's going to have the most ethical administration in history, that he's going to be forthcoming with all the answers sooner rather than later. And they won't even come forth and tell the American people whether they've claimed executive privilege. And Rahm Emanuel, with his pompous, arrogant attitude of his, actually, hey, it's under seal. We can't talk about it. There's nothing, again, stopping the president. Just because it's under seal doesn't mean the president's under a gag order. There's no gag order here. There's nobody telling the president what he can and can't say regarding executive privilege. They just don't want you to know it, folks, because they know how bad it looks. They know that it's specious. They know it has no chance of winning in court. It's nothing more than a delaying tactic. This is the biggest bunch of dishonest, sniveling, arrogant, bumptious people that have ever come down the pipe. And it just continues to be amazingly frustrating that so many people hear this and say, yeah, leave him alone. He's only trying to do what's right for America and so forth. Anyway, we got to take a break here. We'll be back, get into all the other stuff, your phone calls as well. Oh, I can't let this go because the linkage here is just too good. Time magazine, there's a story out this week. You've I'm sure heard about this by now. The president says in an interview with Walter Isaacson of Time magazine that he wanted this trial, this Paula Jones trial, to come out. He wanted it to happen. He wanted his side to be told. He said, if I were just a private citizen, Joe Sixpack, I would have mixed feelings about not getting a chance to disprove these allegations in court. After having been through what I've been through, I would have wanted to put all my evidence before 12 of my fellow citizens. He did everything in his power to stop this trial from occurring. He is the one, ladies and gentlemen, who filed for summary judgment. He's the one who filed for the case to be dismissed. This man, the gall is incredible. On the one hand, he files a motion for summary judgment, which in essence is asking the judge to throw the case out. Now, after it's been thrown out, he's acting like he's been victimized. I wanted to tell my story in court. I wanted 12 of my fellow citizens to hear my innocence. I wanted, but that opportunity's been denied me. I guess it's all right for the presidency, but I want. This is just incredible. It gets more and more incredible all the time. Thank goodness it does. We'll take a break now. Be back with more phone calls in a moment.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
You know, my friends, for several years now, you've been hearing commercials on this program about Blanchard and Company, America's largest, most respected precious metals investment firm. Blanchard is the world's leading dealer of American Eagle gold bullion coins, the only gold bullion coins made with gold mined right here in America and guaranteed by the U.S. government for weight, content, and purity. Blanchard is not a hard sell operation. Their style is to inform and educate. They have a clear understanding of the economic and political factors that impact the markets. Now, if gold's a part of your personal investment strategy, or if you're thinking about adding gold to your portfolio, then call the good people at Blanchard.
Gold recently hit an 18-year low, making now an ideal time to invest in gold American Eagles. If you want to buy low and sell high, call Blanchard at 1-800-285-5466. That's toll-free 1-800-285-5466. 1-800-285-5466.
I'm William Shatner. I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of things, but never anything like this. A service called Priceline that lets you name your own price for airline tickets. Imagine, you name your own price for airline tickets and let the airlines pick the flights. Within an hour, you find out if Priceline can get you a seat on one of the major airlines at your price. So name your own price for airline tickets. You know, this could be big, really big.
Call 1-800-PRICELINE or visit us on the web at Priceline.com.
Hello, folks. This is Keith Murray, owner and general manager of Toyota Goldsboro. If you haven't heard, I recently purchased a Toyota dealership in Goldsboro and assumed the daily operations January 1st. Since buying the Toyota store, I've surrounded myself with some of the best Toyota managers and salespeople in eastern North Carolina. My staff and I bring over 100 years of Toyota experience to Goldsboro. Since our arrival in Goldsboro, the local response has been super. Our volume of business continues to grow each month. If you haven't been out to see us, I invite you all to come out and see what we're doing. At Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro, we're doing business the old-fashioned way. We're very upfront, no slick talk, no gimmicks, no tricks. Now, I know you can buy a Toyota at a lot of other places, but you'll never be treated more fairly than here at Keith Murray's Toyota Goldsboro. Toyota Goldsboro, we're not number one, you are. Come on out and see us at Toyota Goldsboro, where the selection is great, and so is our attitude. I'm Keith Murray for Toyota Goldsboro. You'll love the way we do business, I'll guarantee you.
My cousin Dale's got to drive me around the bend.
Tell me about last week.
Well, we all went to the cafeteria. It took us 3 hours.
In the line.
And the whole time he was eating, Dale kept mumbling, I should have gotten the chicken.
He shouldn't even go to a cafeteria. He has so much trouble making up his mind.
Well, he can't eat at his house. It's too uncomfortable. Hot as blazes in the summer, and in the winter...
You could hang meat.
All because Dale can't decide which air conditioning man to call.
Can't trust any of them, he says.
He is so wrong.
We told him about Jackson and Son.
For over 20 years, they've been doing a great job keeping people comfortable.
The best people in town work for Jackson, and they're available 24 hours a day. Plus, they install only the best equipment.
Like the high-efficiency train comfort system.
It's hard to stop a train.
We told Dale that he didn't even need to put a penny down. Jackson and Sons will finance the whole thing. This decision is a no-brainer.
So what finally happened? Did he call?
Absolutely, and he's so pleased with his decision, he says he's a new man. This afternoon, he's going to try out the Baskin-Robbins.
Call Jackson and Sons today. They're your comfort specialists.
WGBR.
Big op-ed piece in the New York Times yesterday, Robert B. Rice. Sure, well, you see that? Oh, can you believe? I mean, here's a guy who has to take. I mean, the guy may as well try to rewrite the Communist Manifesto 1998. I mean, it wasn't just about that though. I mean, he was all upset that because there's so much affluence that the airlines are adding more business class and first class seats and that is resulting in fewer coach seats, and that the coach seats that remain in these airplanes now are even narrower and have less leg room. And he uses that as a launching pad to illustrate how the middle class is getting squeezed throughout this big economic boom, and how it's becoming more a system of haves and have-nots. I mean, I read it, and I'll tell you what, when I finished reading it, I said, Rush, are you on drugs reading this? I was asking myself, because this seemed like the most pointless. How did the New York Times even, after they read this, determine it was suitable for publishing? I said, what is the point? What is the guy so upset at? Can a guy not look happiness in the face and see anything but positive things? What is bothering this guy? And that's why I say he has to be wanting to write the Communist Manifesto all over again. It was just the most senseless thing. Then you realize this guy was Clinton's labor secretary, and he's an instructor at Harvard or wherever. Anyway, let's grab a phone call quickly. Cape May, New Jersey. We'll start with John. Welcome, sir, to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Regarding the Clinton interview in Time magazine, the operative phrase was Joe Sixpack. The disdain, the contempt. Can you imagine if Reagan or Bush had referred to the electorate as Joe Sixpack? You know, every once in a while, their attitude comes through. Carville with his trailer park trash. Clinton a couple of years ago referred to those people walking around out there. You know, they have utter contempt and disdain, and the people are too stupid to realize they've been taken for a ride.
Ooh, you're really hitting hard there, calling the American people stupid.
He calls him Joe Sixpack.
Well, I think what the president was trying to do, here is the exact quote, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, and here's the question from Walter Isaacson at the time. Is there a part of you that regrets not being able to go to court to try to prove your version of events? Clinton. Well, if I were just a private citizen, Joe Sixpack, I would have mixed feelings about not getting a chance to disprove these allegations in court. Now, I think what Clinton would say if he were to hear your criticism would be shock. I think he would be stunned that you would look at what he said in that light. No, I have great respect for the people of this country. If I were just an average citizen, I'd have had far more rights. I'd have had far more options than I have as the president here. Just a Joe Sixpack, a regular guy. You know I love regular guys. They don't have enough health care and all that. I think he's trying to show his victimized status as the most powerful man in the world and turn it around and say that Joe Sixpack has more options than he does. It's sort of like when he's on Air Force One, flying into St. Louis, complaining to KMOX radio that a radio talk show host, me, El Rushbo, is more powerful than he is, because I have 3 hours on the radio every day, and I can say whatever I want about him, and there's no truth detector, he says. Nobody can respond to it. He feels victimized as the most powerful man in the world, with the most powerful spin machine in the history of the country, with the best and most populated PR machine in the history of the country. He tries to make it sound like he's being victimized by a little radio show from noon to 3 Eastern Time every day. And that's what he's trying to do here. But this one sentence, if I were just a private citizen, Joe Sixpack, I would have mixed feelings about not getting a chance to disprove these allegations in court. And this, you know, and he's trying to arouse sympathy in people. Oh, yeah, I feel so sorry for him. His name was sullied. His name was dragged through the dirt by this woman. He didn't get a chance to explain his side of the story. And I just, you know, I want to throw up. He could have expressed his side of the story at any time. He's the guy who filed the motion for summary judgment. He's the guy who asked the judge to throw the case out. Also in the Time interview, question: what is the legal justification for invoking executive privilege, not only for yourself, but also for your wife? Clinton: I think you have to ask my counsel's office. What is the legal justification for invoking executive privilege, not only for yourself, but also for your wife? Clinton: I think you have to ask my counsel's office. What is the Because the first time I learned about a lot of these legal arguments is when I see them in the papers. So he didn't know that they were claiming executive privilege for it. They can't do it. He's the only one who can. And I guarantee you go call Uncle Bob or David Kendall and ask for clarification on executive privilege. They're going to tell you, I can't talk about that. Attorney-client privilege. What? What a flat-out liar.
Hi, Tony Kanza, founder of Blippy Subs and Salads. I'm on the ocean floor with Charlie the tuna from Starkist.
Hey, you're stepping on my fin.
We're announcing that Blippy tuna subs will now be made with 100% Starkist tuna, plus choice toppings all on freshly baked bread.
Tony, what's this knob on your scoop again, huh?
No, don't touch that. Ooh, look at the fishies.
Starkist and Blimpy. It's a beautiful thing.
Offer valid at participating restaurants.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
It's time for a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR. The cleanup downtown continues in Goldsboro in the wake of this weekend's Deregulation Festival. Cold, cloudy weather which plagued the event is being blamed for what event organizers call a record low attendance. The robbery of one of Goldsboro's new pantry stores has law enforcement authorities on the move to find a gunman. Last Monday morning, the intruder robbed the store of cash and beer. He was armed with a handgun. Fortunately, no one was injured in the robbery. The man, around 25 years old, left the parking lot of the store in a blue Chevrolet Celebrity. Police say the criminal was about 6 feet tall and weighed about 185 pounds with a medium build. He also had short hair. Anyone with information about this robbery is asked to call the Goldsboro Police Department or Goldsboro Wayne Crime Stoppers at 735-2255. They have identified the robbery as this week's crime of the week. If you have information that leads to an arrest, a reward up to $1,000 may be yours. Using the telephone book can save you money if you make a habit of using local directory assistance to find telephone numbers. Southern Bell officials say the cost of dialing 411 is going up to 52 cents per call for all directory assistance calls over the 5 allowed at no charge. Telephone marketing executives say the 5 free ones are allowed because from time to time a number simply may not be in the phone book. School leaders are still quiet on why Goldsboro Middle School Principal Patricia Burton was placed on administrative leave while the school was under an audit. Superintendent Jimmy Williams says school administration is aware people want to know why she's not at school, and people want her back. However, state law prohibits the release of information about the matter now. While Williams remains under pressure from the public, he has given reassurance state law will be followed regardless of the circumstances. Williams noted the laws were enacted to protect everyone involved. Tax time for unemployment insurance benefits. All benefits are subject to state and federal income tax. With April 15th just around the corner, local job service office officials say it's a good time to remind recipients all unemployment insurance benefits must be included as income when filing tax returns. Last year was the first full year the Employment Security Commission gave unemployment insurance recipients the option of having taxes withheld from their benefit check. Last year, ESC withheld more than $10 million in federal and state taxes. That's a look at local news. I'm Thomas Vick on 1150 WGBR.
Well, it looks like a weak ridge of high pressure will continue to build into the area from the west today. That'll start to pull away toward the east by later in the day tomorrow. Should leave us with sunny skies today, though, along with comfortably mild temperatures and light and variable winds. We'll have highs around 66 to 71. Should be mostly clear and a little chilly overnight tonight. Lows in the low to mid-40s. Then on Tuesday, clouds will be increasing from the south and west, mainly after lunchtime. Highs tomorrow are up a bit to 70 to 75. I'm Mike Moss at the Weather Center.
Performing my job with flawless broadcast excellence, this is Rush Limbaugh on WGBR. A man, a legend, a way of life. Rush Limbaugh, the latest inductee into the National Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. That'll occur tomorrow in Las Vegas. Tony Snow will be here behind the golden EIB microphone, guest hosting the program. Telephone number, if you'd like to be with us, 800-282-2882. The communion caper continues. Actually has not left the news. The High-ranking officials in the Catholic Church have continued to express shock, dismay, and outrage at the president's taking of communion. He is not a Catholic. His wife is a Methodist. He is a Southern Baptist, and as such, he cannot take communion as he did in Africa. And a lot of people are writing things about it and discussing the various aspects of it in both pro and con ways. The president has his defenders on this. But I'll tell you, there's nothing unusual. This is whatever it takes to get people outraged, I guess we should all be for. If the Catholic Church is finally going to stand up and say the guy is a skunk, then fine. If it takes this to convince people that we're dealing with somebody here who is obviously nothing but into symbolism,